Have you ever tried to just stop thinking? If you have, you already know the punchline. The second you command your brain to be quiet, it suddenly remembers an embarrassing thing you said 5 years ago, reminds you of the laundry sitting in the machine, and starts wondering whether or not penguins have knees. Now,
We live in an era of chronic overthinking. We are constantly analyzing the past and agonizing over the future, searching frantically for a way to clear the mental clutter. But what if the harder you try to find peace, the further you push it away? What if the way we try to calm our minds is exactly what's causing our anxiety in the first place?
To understand how to actually find mental clarity, we have to look at a classic paradox found in Zen philosophy.
Imagine a restless young student. Plagued by racing thoughts, he hikes up a treacherous mountain to seek the guidance of a legendary Zen master. The student begs for the secret to inner peace, asking, "How do I empty my mind?"
Instead of handing him a scroll or whispering a mystical mantra, the master leads the student to a courtyard. In the center sits a massive stone basin overflowing with water. The master hands the student a tiny, empty teacup and a ladle. "Your task is simple," the master says. "Transfer all the water from this massive basin into this tiny cup, but you must not spill a single drop."
Logically, physically, this is an impossible task. But the desperate student gets to work. He scoops, he calculates, he pours cautiously. But no matter how hard he tries, the water overflows, spilling onto the stones. The more he fails, the more frustrated he gets, and his mind races even faster. He is hyper-fixated on the outcome, paralyzed by the sheer volume of the water and the inadequacy of the cup.
This story isn't a literal physics problem. It is a Zen koan, a story designed to short-circuit our logical, analytical brains. Because that struggling student is exactly what we look like when we try to force our minds to be empty. We take the massive, overwhelming ocean of our daily anxieties and try to forcefully jam it into the tiny, rigid box of forced relaxation. Psychologists call this the ironic process theory, famously illustrated by the white bear experiment. If I tell you to spend the next 10 seconds not thinking about a white bear is the only thing you're going to see. The brain cannot empty itself through sheer willpower. The friction of trying to stop your thoughts only creates more thoughts. So, how does the master advise the student to solve the impossible puzzle? He tells him, "You cannot empty the basin because your mind is too full. To move the water, you must first empty yourself."
The Japanese call this state Mushin, which translates to no mind. But Mushin doesn't mean your brain is dead, blank, or asleep. It means a mind free from the friction of ego, expectation, and overanalysis.
When the student stops obsessing over the impossible math of fitting the basin into the cup, everything changes. He stops worrying about finishing the task. He lets go of the frustration of spilling. Instead, he simply feels the smooth wood of the ladle. He listens to the rhythmic splash of the water. He focuses entirely on the physical sensation of the present moment. He isn't fighting the water anymore. He is just moving with it. In modern psychology, we have a different name for this ancient concept. We call it the flow state. Coined by psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, flow is that magical zone where you are so completely immersed in an activity that your sense of self, your ego, and all your swirling worries completely vanish.
You don't get into a flow state by yelling at your brain to shut up. You get there by giving your restless mind a single, tangible anchor in the present moment.
So, how do you apply this to your own chaotic life? It starts by letting go of the outcome. We spend so much of our lives treating the present moment as an annoying obstacle we have to overcome to get to a better future. But true peace requires you to surrender to the task at hand. Whether you're washing the dishes, writing a difficult email, or simply taking a walk, stop trying to rush to the finish line. Focus on the sensory details. Feel the temperature of the water on your hands. Listen to the rhythmic click of your keyboard. Notice the feeling of gravity keeping your feet on the ground. When you anchor yourself to the physical reality of right now, the mental noise naturally begins to fade. You don't have to force the water out of the basin. You just have to focus on the next scoop. True peace doesn't come from a hollow, empty brain. It comes from absolute, unshakable presence. When you stop fighting your thoughts and instead pour your entire being into what is right in front of you, the universe naturally flows through you. If this perspective helped you find a little bit of clarity today, hit the like button and subscribe for more deep dives into psychology, philosophy, and living a better life. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. What is one everyday activity that instantly puts you into a flow state?
Until next time, stop fighting the water and stay present.